Well, today the Hollywood Reporter decided to tackle Disney Star Wars. That's right. Look at that headline. Is Disney bad at Star Wars? An analysis. This is going to be a long video, but I hope you stay with me. I mean, for most of us, we could look at that headline and just say, yes, article done. Is Disney bad at Star Wars? Yes. Yes, it's bad. The numbers don't lie. And it's fascinating to me to see now that members of the media are now recognizing this. Welcome to the party, pal. We've been here since The Last Jedi, and some of us even before The Force Awakens. So, yes. Is Disney bad at Star Wars? Yes. Well, before we go through this article, would you do me a huge favor and please hit that subscribe button? It's a free thing that you could do that helps out the channel. I really appreciate it. Also, people have been asking me, Jay, what's going on with your podcast, man? When you interview people and all that stuff, we don't talk pop culture over there. It's a little different. Yeah, it's on this channel here, the Welcome to the Rebellion podcast. Got a lot of new interviews lined up, even some people that used to be at Lucasfilm. So we're going to have a good time. I will put the link in the pinned comment so you could check it out for yourself. I go live there early in the morning, and we just talk about like politics and stuff like that. So if that interests you, head on over there and I'll see you over there. All right, let's get into this article. Is Disney bad at Star Wars? An analysis. High budgets, scrapped projects, fan backlash. It's been 12 years since Disney bought Star Wars and its galaxy far, far away arguably has too many broken toys. Well, I think he answered the headline right there. Way too many broken toys. That's kind of a neat way to put it. There's an exchange in Star Wars The Force Awakens when Rey and Finn are fleeing the stormtroopers and searching for a way to escape. Rey spots the legendary Millennium Falcon and declares, "Looks like garbage," and then quickly reconsiders the garbage will do. Increasingly, that's the attitude some fans have about Disney's Star Wars programming. Oh man, that is a great analysis. I'll give you credit for using their own lines against them. Look, we all know this isn't fantastic anymore, but Star Wars is still Star Wars, and therefore it will do. No, it won't do that anymore. Again, we talked about this before. There was a time you could slap the Star Wars name on almost anything and people would buy it. There was good, there was bad, people would buy it, but at the end of the day, the overall product was amazing. So yeah, you got a couple Star Wars butter dishes out there or some weird Christmas ornaments or like things that probably shouldn't have been made, you know, like slippers where you put your feet in Yoda's mouth to walk around it. Yeah, maybe we could have done without that, but there was a time that people would still buy it because the overall product was amazing. Now, nothing. You can't even make a game, you know, because it just fails. Nobody cares. Nobody wants this anymore. The article says, to be fair, Disney's Star Wars shows and movies remain far from space junk. Many would argue that point. Their titles typically get glowing reviews from critics. Well, of course they would. I mean, a lot of people don't like what critics like or what they have to say. Bought and paid for. Does that ring a bell? And this is why a lot of people are now finding their favorite YouTube creators and listen to what they have to say about shows and movies because they know that many of them, not all of them, are not bought and paid for. Let's see. Let's continue. And generate box office returns and streaming ratings that other studios would envy. I guess maybe some, maybe not everyone. Okay, so now the article goes through some of the legacy. So let's go with them, shall we? Let's take a walk down memory lane. So let's run through Disney Star Wars legacy today. I love the fact that they're calling it Disney Star Wars because I remember that I guess shills and certain people are like, don't call it Disney Star Wars. It's just Star Wars. There's a distinct separation between Star Wars and Disney Star Wars. So it's funny to me to see the media use that term, Disney's Star Wars legacy. So let's say that. The Force Awakens to the Acolyte. Oh, here we go. And see what conclusions might be drawn, because several aspects of the company's track record admittedly look shaky. A 5-movie franchise that was halted after its box office return trended in the wrong direction. That should have been the first wake-up call right there. Starting with The Force Awakens all the way down to Solo, right? Then the Rise of Skywalker. The needle was moving. The line graph, the bar graph, everything was moving in the wrong direction. It should have at least maintained or gone higher. It raises a question. Is Disney kind of bad at Star Wars, or is this a case where a very high bar for success combined with a passionate fandom gripes tends to obscure what is otherwise a hugely popular and lucrative franchise? Let's take a closer look. They are trying so hard. Sorry, didn't mean to laugh. They are trying so hard to make this balanced when they know that Disney Star Wars is trash. I like how they use this quote too. Let the past die. Kill it if you have to. Then they go on to say, after buying Lucasfilm from George in 2012, Disney relaunched the Star Wars franchise trilogy in 2015. The film was an absolute blockbuster. Yes, it was. Yes, it was. I still think it holds the #1 domestic moneymaker of all time for domestic here. Rian Johnson's 2017 sequel, The Last Jedi, took the story in a different direction that many loved and many didn't. Well, the ones that loved it seem to still like the stuff today. So I don't know if it was a 50-50 split, to be honest with you. I think there was a section of media and influencers that they hoped would, stay with the course, that liked The Last Jedi. That was a very divisive film, and that was the wake-up call for a lot of people, including myself. Just seeing the mess from The Last Jedi to The Rise of Skywalker. It says Abrams returned in 2019, The Rise of Skywalker, and tried to push the narrative closer to his original intentions. Man, they should have just paid one guy to do the trilogy. Whether it would have sucked or not, it might have been somewhat better, even if they gave it to Rian Johnson to do the trilogy, because we could clearly see that Johnson tried to do, J.J. Abrams tried to undo everything from The Last Jedi, which made the movie even worse. He was like, what was Rian thinking? What is all this stuff here? No. We're going to undo it all and change it all. And Rian Johnson didn't care. He got his paycheck. His name will go down in infamy as the guy who killed Luke Skywalker. But thanks to Mark Hamill's Twitter, less and less people seem to care. The article basically agrees with me in this paragraph. It was like a mishmash of dual creative visions that just made the trilogy suck. You think that the last movie of the Skywalker saga, The Rise of Skywalker, it should have been on Endgame levels, whether you like the movie or not, made $3 billion. But no, it made less because people started to check out. The film's box office also told a story. At a time when Disney Marvel movies kept breaking new ticket sales records, Force made an extraordinary $2 billion worldwide. While the second movie dropped, but it still made $1.3 billion, and The Rise of Skywalker just made $1 billion, which is still $1 billion, but still, the graph is moving in the wrong direction. Around the same time, the studio experimented with 2 standalone titles. There was the Rogue One earning $1 billion, which has a great reputation, and 2018's widely panned Solo, which was a disaster. Disastrous for the franchise at $393 million. Boy, talk about a drop-off. You're making billion, not even $400 million. Oh, there was so many problems with that movie. That was the movie nobody wanted. It was terrible. It was cheesy. Dear God, what were they thinking? After Rise of Skywalker, Disney paused making big screen Star Wars movies altogether. Yeah, because I believe that Disney was like, hey, look, we've got to get some subscribers. So let's give that to Star Wars. You're going to build our Disney Plus because Star Wars is a big brand that everybody loves. And if we put all our efforts into the shows, then more people will come to subscribe. Oh, my goodness. Let's see. Let's continue. But continuing to announce new films in development from top creatives. The list of well-known writers and directors have come and gone. Oh, man. This is where you should know that these people, Kathleen Kennedy and others, have no idea what they're doing. How are they running a company like that? Rian Johnson was supposed to make a trilogy. You know, there was another trilogy. Benioff and Weiss, Patty Jenkins. The list goes on. And the guy from Jurassic Park, Josh Trank. I don't even know some of these people. Taika Waititi. You know, and even, that's right, Kevin Feige. There was reports that Kevin Feige was going to step over into Star Wars and make a film. It's crazy. These people step over and they're like, oh, dude, I get a chance to make a Star Wars film. Then they see the management, the leadership, and a lot of them are like, yeah, I'll just walk away. Or, you know, they're just not getting along with the creative process. And Lucasfilm's like, we're putting that project on hold indefinitely. It's crazy that they announce this stuff and then just quietly walk away. Well, we don't forget. The article continues. If all this seems rather chaotic for a studio that's famously meticulous, well, yes, it does. Well, that should be number one. They don't know how to run a studio. The article lists projects that are still in the works. The James Mangold, Dawn of the Jedi. Sean Levy, the Deadpool director, he's working on an untitled film. Patty Jenkins' Rogue Squadron was resurrected. And the Daisy Ridley Ray movie has shifted directors. And the article says it's uncertain which of these, if any, will be made. And we're all saying the same thing. It probably won't. I'll believe it when I see it. The only one I believe is being made is Mando and Grogu. That's the only one. Let's see. Once again, Disney also came out of the gate incredibly strong in 2019 with The Mandalorian. See, that's what I thought Disney Plus Star Wars was going to be. Shows like The Mandalorian. It was definitely a 2-season show with maybe some guest appearance from The Mandalorian moving forward. But since that was the only thing that they had, that's the only thing that was popular, Baby Yoda was the only thing selling, they had to mess that up as well. It's easy to forget how the show was considered a big gamble at the time, given that Favreau also launched the MCU with the 2008 Iron Man. He deserves to be honored for one of those medal ceremonies in Yavin. In season 3, The Mandalorian creatively stumbled a bit, ratings slipped, and the show received backlash for the first time. It was terrible. Jack Black was in there. I mean, what? The show made no sense. It didn't have any risk. You know, basically you just got the blade back to Bo-Katan. And how they did it was so stupid. Bo-Katan saved me. Here's the blade. All right, let's go. It was dumb. The show was over in season 2. Baby Yoda went back to Luke. That's it. You could have built on that, but no, you'd made the Book of Boba Fett just to screw it all up. And then now you have like Baby Yoda beating Mandalorians in like, oh, dude, don't get me started on season 3. It was terrible. And it was par from the course. Instead of a 4th season, Disney decided to pivot The Mandalorian to launch its first Star Wars feature film. Since The Rise of Skywalker, coming in 2026, The Mandalorian and Grogu will probably perform well. I'm gonna tell you, I don't think it's gonna perform well at all. I really don't. The way that Lucasfilm does their budgets, it's gonna have a massive budget. I mean, look at the Acolytes budget, like $250 million. It's gonna have a massive budget. There's gonna be high expectation, and I think the charm that Baby Yoda, Grogu had for the masses has just kind of fizzed out. They still slap that thing on all their products because it's the only thing that's selling. But I just think it's fizzed out. No one's really talking about it anymore. No one really is like, yeah, okay. I think it will underperform. Do I think it will be a huge bomb or flop? No. I think it will underperform. From The Mandalorian came 2021's spin-off, The Book of Boba Fett, which in my opinion is the worst Star Wars show ever created, which is where some problems with the franchise TV efforts started to emerge. The spin tactic, the way they literally threw away Mandalorian season 1 and 2 just to get Baby Yoda back with Mando. I think that's just crapped all over the fandom and cracked the franchise, at least the Disney Plus franchise, for Star Wars. Just shattered it, man. Just shattered it. The Book of Boba Fett was originally a series, not a miniseries, but it was quickly considered concluded. Dang, done. They made that series just to get Grogu back to Mando. Sorry, I've been saying that over and over, but that's the only reason why they made Book of Boba Fett. It was cheaply made. It was boring. Nothing happened. It was, oh, dude. That is one of the coolest characters ever that you could have done something special where he actually is a bounty hunter, you know? And every episode, he could have had a tougher challenge to be a bounty hunter. It could have been violent, man. It could have been so much. Oh, well. There have been 4 new shows since 2020's Obi-Wan Kenobi, which a lot of people say that is the most horrific show that Disney Plus has ever produced for Star Wars. Just destroying lore, forcing characters that no one cares about. It was stupid. It was laughable. The fact that, you know, he hid a young Princess Leia under his coat to walk through the guards. Dude, I mean, that show was something. Obi-Wan Kenobi opened to a 1.03 billion minutes of viewing, according to Nielsen, even bigger than Mando Season 3 opening, and concluded with a strong 860 million minutes for the. So it went down. It went down even for the final. No more current plans for other episodes. Then we got Andor, which I will have a full review on Andor on this channel. I'm just doing one long video on the whole series. So people have been asking me for that, so you're going to get it. It had a budget estimate of $250 million for 12 episodes. Critics and its fans love the results. However, Andor was Emmy nominated for Best Drama Series at 90% Rotten Tomatoes, the best reviewed live-action Star Wars show or movie. But nobody watched it. It wasn't watched. It had very low ratings. Yeah, here we go. Next paragraph. Andor's ratings did not fully reflect this esteem. Yeah, nobody watched it. But it's getting a season 2. I think that was in the original contract. Like, I'm getting 2 seasons or I'm not doing it at all. 2023's Ahsoka from Clone Wars. Dude, this did worse. It declined. The season opener, 829 million minutes views. Then it declined to 570. Basically, what you're saying is that people turn in to the first 2 episodes that you release and they're not hooked. They don't care and they don't continue to watch. That's what all these graphs are showing. You can't hook people. You think because of the Star Wars name you hook people, but you can't. I was told by Dave Filoni that you did not have to watch Rebels to enjoy Ahsoka. Well, that is a huge lie. Because half the time I didn't know what was going on, and when I was doing my reviews, all the comments were like, "You idiot, you need to watch Rebels." I was like, I was told by Dave himself, you don't have to watch Rebels. But you did, and I didn't. So now I don't know what's going on. And Ahsoka, the only thing that happened in Ahsoka is they were looking for Ezra, and all they did was trade places. Ahsoka found Ezra on that planet that no one could find, and Ezra left. So now Ahsoka's on the planet. Oh, dude. And it's just, that's basically it. That's basically it. Thrawn showed up and everyone was like, dear God. Lord. But it's getting a season 2 and it won't be out for several years, which is so weird to me. But it's Lucasfilm. 2024 is The Acolyte from creator Leslie Headland. My favorite series to date. My channel loved The Acolyte. I wish it got 10 seasons. I would retire on a giant yacht somewhere in Tahiti. The series was set 100 years before The Phantom Menace and had franchise's most diverse cast along the way with several female leads. Oh my gosh, you had to throw that in there, didn't you, article? You just had to throw that in there. They got this wrong. New York Times revealed the 8-episode series cost $180 million. Nope, it was about $250 once they looked at the tax. The Acolyte received largely positive critic reviews and sparked a raging culture war battle that once again exposed the ugly side of online fandom. Let me just tell you this. The majority of the people that didn't like the film, that were talking about it, including myself, we were the ones being attacked by those that loved it. People's channels were trying to get people's channels demonetized and removed. They were calling us all kinds of names like racist and everything else for not liking the show, misogynist, the same tired old critique. They constantly attacked creators like Star Wars Theory and everyone else because of not liking the show. Not once did me, Theory, anybody else that I know that was saying I don't like this show was going after people that liked it. At the end of the day, if you like something, like it. Don't worry about what we're saying online. Just because we don't like something. Listen, man, I like Avatar. I get trashed for that all the time. It is what it is, man. It is what it is. I'm not going around making videos. This person's, let's get their channel removed because they don't like Avatar. Give me a freaking break. Right here, just because we didn't like, this doesn't mean we're racist, basically. Yeah, exactly. But then the article, they couldn't help themselves. Some other Acolyte bashers were, well, clearly racist. Example, please? Can't give an example. That's what I thought. The Acolyte's premiere ratings were the lowest to date for a live-action Star Wars series launched at 488 minutes. Like, people just were checked out before it even started. Usually it would have, like, a higher rating because people are like, okay, maybe this will get me back. Nah. The season ended on a cliffhanger, but The Acolyte is not getting a season 2. These people signed off on that. They signed off that, yeah, it'll be a cliffhanger. Oh, it's going to be great. Kathleen Kennedy cried when she saw it. Oh, it's going to be great. It's going to be great. We're going to get 2 seasons. If they were going to leave it on a cliffhanger, they should have just signed 2 seasons. But no, they just left it, and they're like, we're done. The cancellation has been portrayed by some defenders as baffling. Even conspiratorial. Yeah, it was a conspiracy. It was, sorry, I can't help it. It was a conspiracy why it was canceled. No, but the show's ratings. That's why it was canceled, and they spent too much money. On December 3rd, Disney is launching John Watts and Christopher Ford's Skeleton Crew, which is basically Goonies in space. What's really weird is like they have flintlock lasers. That's going to be weird. And pirates. And after this, they announced, I don't know if this is in the article, but they also announced a new pirate Star Wars series. That's right. They're stepping into the pirate genre. I think the Skeleton Crew is nothing more than a kid's show. And that's going to be the end of it. Skeleton Crew is focused on kids, like Andor is targeted to grown-ups. Might be a smart play. But this still doesn't mean it's going to be a good Star Wars show. So that's the 6 live-action shows in 5 years. Just one, The Mandalorian, has been an outright hit. Yeah, that ought to tell you something. Don't get me wrong, too. There was other projects that Lucasfilm has, like Willow, where they nuked season 1 off Disney Plus because it was so bad, and Indiana Jones. The Dial of Destiny was a tragedy. It was disgusting, and that should be nuked from history. And that thing cost them hundreds of millions of dollars. They go on to say, this doesn't mean a single season of TV can't be a win. Look at Shogun. Look at Shogun. Yeah, well, it's Lucasfilm. The Acolyte Season 1 took 4 years to make, but a second season would have likely only taken half the time. With an ongoing series, a company doesn't have to work so hard to spend so much to keep re-earning its audience, excuse me. One would think Disney would have wanted more juice from some of these squeezes. Yeah, they just, somewhere along the line, maybe it was Bob Chapek, gave them a blank check, and they just said, you get a show, let's get all these shows, let's go. When they should have just focused on maybe 2 and just let that do its thing. Because what is left for Disney Plus after Skeleton Crew? The final season of Andor and a second season of Ahsoka? In 2020, Disney bullishly announced 10 new Star Wars shows at an investor event. These shows included Lando, now being really developed by star Donald Glover, not Danny Glover. I made that mistake before. We haven't heard anything about it. Rangers of the New Republic, scrapped for reasons. What's that? You click on that article and it take. Oh yeah, of course, the Gina Carano thing. Yeah, scrapped for reasons. The project is being left with a single ongoing live-action Star Wars show after Andor concludes. Surely wasn't the company's hope coming out of that announcement. Wow. Hanging over all of that, I think you've answered your question, Hollywood Reporter. Yes. They're not fit for Star Wars. Terrible. Look at this. Like, everything that you've discussed here, except for season 1 of The Mandalorian, has been a failure. The company has enjoyed more consistent results on the animated side, which has been largely championed by Filoni. Shows such as Rebels, The Bad Batch, Visions, Tales of the Jedi were critically acclaimed and well-liked by fans. Again, that's what I thought Disney Plus was going to be, like more animation stuff. Disney Plus was originally targeted for children, so they would make children shows, Star Wars shows for kids. That's what I thought, but they didn't do that. They just threw everything over there. Things are not sticking. And what about Disney Plus subscriptions? Aren't subscriptions the real coin of the realm here? Yeah. Disney Plus took off like a rocket in 2019, steadily climbing to the peak in the fourth quarter of 2022. Yeah, wasn't there some like lockdowns in there where people had nothing else to do? And plus you were giving away subscriptions for free with Verizon and other things that you bought. It wasn't just Verizon, there was other things. Hey, if you bought this, if you got this, you get Disney Plus for a year. Then now they're selling it right as we speak for $1.99. Come on, man. The subscriptions hit 164, then started to drop. Yeah, when all the freebies ran out, people weren't signing back up for that crap. Lucasfilm's president, Kathleen Kennedy, who has produced some of the most beloved and iconic movies in cinema history, in addition to successfully relaunching Star Wars in cinema with The Force Awakens and trailblazing into TV with Mando, has overseen the Star Wars franchise since 2012. Any mention of Kennedy made to look at the Star Wars track record cannot be separated from the fact that she has been the target of hateful and ugly attacks fandom. What? People have been saying she's doing a terrible job. South Park also piled on the mocking of her in a recent episode. That was great. It was true, though. It's not even making fun of her. It's like, that's just how she is. Let's put a chick in it. Make her lame and gay. That's it. Still, Kennedy shouldn't be considered immune from criticism. And one thing recent political headlines have shown is the myth of only I can do it leadership. No. She's in charge. The buck stops with her. This product has been terrible. No one's buying the new toys or anything, man. They end up in the bargain bin. You know? Oh, now we go into the theme parks. On the parks front, the company doesn't publicly release its attendance numbers for each land, so it's tough to clock exactly how Star Wars Land Galaxy's Edge is faring at Disneyland's across the planet. Is that what they meant to say? The company's third quarter investor reports stated the attractions remains one of the most popular in the parks and ranks number 1 in guest satisfaction. Wait a minute here. Oh, yeah, here we go. I was about to say Galactic Star Cruiser, but in 2023, the company's infamous Star Wars interactive hotel experience, the Galactic Star Cruiser, which reportedly cost nearly $1 billion, blew up like Alderaan. Yeah, that's it. That should tell you the state of Galaxy's Edge. You can't really gauge Galaxy's Edge because it's part of a larger theme park. So if people go to Disneyland, Galaxy's Edge is just in there. So you're saying, oh, yeah, Galaxy's Edge is number 1. Well, how can that be so when there's people going to that theme park for other things, pirates, everything else? Same thing here in Orlando. It's part of a bigger park. There's more people in Toy Story Land, and we have proof of that, than at Galaxy's Edge. Kind of crazy. The stealth gold mine of the franchise remains merchandising. Yeah, really? Maybe with Baby Yoda. Disney typically doesn't release numbers. Of course they don't release numbers. Of course. But sources say Star Wars merch generated $1 billion for the company last year. Baby Yoda has surely been a retail godsend. Yeah, I will agree with that. You might be like, what, $1 billion? No way. Yeah, that Baby Yoda sold, man. And I love the fact that this article is calling it Baby Yoda and not Grogu. That's pretty hilarious. The Baby Yoda sold. They slapped that thing on everything, even like dog collars, and it sold. Though it's hard to imagine a Basil action figure flying off the shelves. Yeah, I think that's all they had. That's why they had to bring Baby Yoda back, because they're like, this is all we got. This is our bread and butter. During a presentation in March to fight an activist investor who accused the company of overspending, Disney also revealed Lucasfilm has generated nearly $12 billion in total revenue on its $4 billion investment. And here it is right here. This is what we've all been saying forever, because we never get real numbers. We can only go by one guy with a tie on saying, hey, we made $12 billion in Star Wars, so we're doing great. Really? How? The article even says there's so much stuffed into this fuzzy umbrella number. However, including non-Star Wars titles and projected future returns, how do you put future returns into that number? You know? And also so much left out, like the cost of everything. It's so tough to know what to make of that $12 billion other than Star Wars generates a lot of money, which you probably already knew. I don't think it does anymore. I honestly don't think it. If it generated a lot of money, greenlighting an Acolyte Season 2 with $250 million budget would be no problem. If it's making plenty of money, you know, that Reva lightsaber would have been created, right? It bombed. Nobody wanted it. No one's buying this stuff. How do you put $12 billion in projected future returns? Like, how does that work? That's me saying, hey, on your, you know, Jay, how much you make last year? About $1 million. Oh, yeah? How did you get that number? Projected future returns. That's how I made it. What? What is that? What are you talking about? We'll never know the truth. The other thing is, I believe if Lucasfilm was doing so well and making tons of money, they would have no problem in releasing it for stockholders, shareholders, the board, all that. No problem. It's like, here you go. Here's what we spent. Here's what we made. It's looking good. Everything's in the green. You don't see a red in sight. The article continues, so let us at long last go back to the big question in the headline. Is Disney bad at Star Wars? And now the article's trying to be positive. On balance, no. You literally listed everything wrong with the company. With everything that they've done. The only major hits that we had here was Rogue One, The Force Awakens, Mandalorian Season 1. That's it. Everything else was, even though it made $1 billion, it lost money compared to what the first movie made. That means people were checking out. that the line graph was going in the wrong direction. So how can you say on balance, no? Oh, and Baby Yoda merch sales. Let me put that in the positive. So the Rise of Skywalker's farewell scene between Han Solo and Kylo Ren is as moving as anything in the canon. Oh, no, it's not. It's dumb. And the show like The Mandalorian, Andor, and Rebels clear even the highest bar a hardcore fan might reasonably set. Man, that is easily debatable. A lot of the online uproar is a sign audience are, at least, still very engaged and care about this franchise. Well, I think now it's kind of fun to laugh at how far it's fallen. It's not that I'm even angry at it anymore. I'm just like, dear God, look what we got. Look where we are. It's freaking hilarious to me that they think that this is acceptable for even a regular show. A truer sign of failure would be apathy and disinterest. The thing is, people are disinterested because they would rather watch YouTubers talk about how bad Star Wars is than watching the show itself. But here's another question. Could Disney be better at Star Wars? Clearly, yes. Well, there you go. There you go. They're trying to make an argument now that like anything could be better. And that's basically the end of the article. I think you answered the title quite well. Is Disney bad at Star Wars? The answer is obvious. And you spelled it out perfectly. Yes. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Man, if you made it all the way to the end of this almost 40-minute video, I salute you. I salute you. I salute you. Let me know that you made it to the end. And right, I made it to the end, Jay. Oh my goodness, that's incredible. Much love to you guys. Much love. Nothing's going to change until the entire leadership, staff, everyone over there is changed. That's the only way Star Wars, I don't even know it'll be saved. It just has to change. And the ship has to make a complete 180 in another direction. And if leadership changes, not just leadership, but all these people involved, if all of that changes, which highly unlikely will be, then I think they need to pause, take a deep breath, and maybe I won't see it in my lifetime, who knows, and take some years off and put together a beautiful 10-year plan of books, comics, series, and movies that is in line with George Lucas' Star Wars and his vision. I mean, you could do it pretty simple. Just get an EU book. Just do it's already written for you. It is right there. You don't have to change anything. You don't have to bring in writers or anything. Bring in the author. And just do that. And I think Star Wars may have a chance. That's what I think. What do you think? This is Jay, and I'll catch you next time.